Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are playing the T-62A. Yes, one of the best medium tanks in tier 10, and it has been for a few years now. Since Wargaming buffed it and buffed it and buffed it, and then they buffed it again. It is absolutely a crazy tier 10. But people are not playing it as much. People are not playing this tank as much as they used to. Are people still enjoying the T-62, or is it because there's better tanks to play? Now, in my opinion, the T-62A is still one of my go-to tanks in tier 10. It has everything going for it, everything that you need a tank to have. This tank has got. It's got turret armor, it's got gun depression, it's got DPM, and it's got accuracy. It's literally got everything that you want in a tank, and most people would actually say that's overpowered. Now, the thing that interests me more is when tanks come out, when new tanks come out, or when tanks get buffed, the community are quick to jump on the fact that it's overpowered or anything like that. And then they complain about it, but after some time it never really gets spoken about again. It's just literally like ignored. So are people out there, does people still think that the T-62A is overpowered? Because when it got buffed, people were complaining that this tank was overpowered, but over time it's just forgotten about. Now, you've got tanks like the Smasher. The Smasher is overpowered, and it has been overpowered ever since it came into the game, and that's still one tank that is still spoken about now about being overpowered, and people complain about it even today, the same as the Annihilator. This tank here was one of those tanks. We're all confused, and myself included, we're all confused as to why Wargaming buffed it again after the buff it got before. But then it's left. No one really talks about the tank anymore, and no one really plays the tank anymore. But that doesn't take away the fact that it is still a fantastic tank, and in my opinion, it is the best tier 10 medium. I don't think it's the strongest. I still don't think it's the strongest. I'm always going to say the E50M is the strongest because of that armor profile that it's got, the accuracy it's got, the speed, the ramming abilities it's got. I still think that E50M is the strongest of tier 10 mediums, but it's not. It doesn't mean it's the best. Just because it's strong doesn't mean it's the best. Overall, I honestly think that this tank here is the best medium tank in tier 10. Again, it's not my favorite tank. I love the T-62A, but it's not my favorite. My favorite is the Leopard 1, but because my favorite is the Leopard 1, again, doesn't mean it's the best. A lot of you might not like the Leopard 1, you might not be able to play the Leopard 1, and you just might not perform well in the Leopard 1. But still, the T-62A is one of my go-to tanks. We can always perform well in it. Me and Fizzy here, I got 5k damage, Fizzy got 4k damage, and we carried the team. I got a first class, and we carried the team. Fizzy got a first class, I think, in the E50M. So two strong tanks together can really perform well. And fair play to Status there in the M60, 5.6k damage. He had a blinder of a game as well. So we're going to watch a game here now in the T-62, and then we're going to talk about why this tank is not played as much, or at least as to why I think that this tank is no longer played really. Like, a lot of tanks are actually now, a lot of players, sorry, are actually playing in the Object 140 now, where before, when Wargaming buffed the T-62A, even myself made a video saying there's no point in the Object 140 anymore. There's no point, because the only thing the Object 140 had over the T-62A was gun depression. Wargaming buffed this gun depression on this tank and made it even better. Now the only thing that the Object 140 has over this is a little bit more frontal armor, but it doesn't have a turret. It doesn't have a turret. The turret is quite weak, but it does have the armor on the front plate, the troll armor on the front plate. Now, that's only good for brawling. If you can brawl, now you will get bounces on that front plate. You can't really do that as much on the T-62A. And to be honest, these tanks are made for brawling. They've got the DPM, they've got the speed, and they are really made for brawling. If you can brawl in the tank, side scrape, side hug on tanks, face hug, they are made for brawling. So the Object 140 is good in that sense, but overall, the overall package, the T-62 is much, much better. And as I've said, after this battle, we're gonna see as to why I think that the T-62A is no longer played or as much as it used to be. So this game, same map as the map I was playing, but this time they perform a bit better than I do. So already only 600 damage done so far, but the thing with something like the T-62, you can really pump up your damage very, very quickly. But it's 3,500 DPM, which is absolutely crazy. I say absolutely crazy, but most medium tanks now in tier 10 are around that. So 3,500, even though it used to be crazy, it's not that crazy anymore. So one tank down a piece at the moment, and now they've started to flank around to try and get behind these guys. Needs to really take care of the Jaegeru there. Going to ignore the Yo and go for the Jaegeru. So good play there, but unfortunately he's not able to drop down, so he is just going to get that shot into the T-62, who does take care of the Object 263, and the Object 268 is gone from the Yo. So now it is a 4 versus 6. So a lot of work to do, and going for this T-62A is an absolute must because of that DPM, and he is going to take care of him. Well, he's going to leave him on just 15 hit points for now, but you can see him really focusing this guy because he is the main target at the moment, because he's the one with the DPM and he's the one with the speed and pretty much everything. So I'd prefer to take out a DPM tank like the T-62 than a big tank like a Jaegeru or a VK-72 or a 60 TP or anything like that. For me, the most dangerous tanks are those medium tanks. So now they've got it down to a 3 versus 4. He's done 2.2k damage, nothing special at the moment, but there is still 4 tanks left alive, and there's still quite a bit of hit points. Now he's going to focus on the next most dangerous tank, and that is the Death Star. Now, of course, the Death Star is not that dangerous if it misses his shot, because he's then on a 20+ second reload. But that one shot can almost wipe our guy out. He's got 1900 hit points. If this Death Star was able to get a headshot into him, he could be down to 300 hit points. That's a massive amount for when you are full hit points. Just one shot, you'll be a one shot. So he is rushing him. Lovely track shot there. Beautiful track shot, and that makes him be able to get behind him and just farm him out with his DPM. And at this point, there is absolutely nothing this Death Star can do. So it's now a 2 versus 2, but his last teammate won't last too long, I don't believe, and he's now up to 4k damage. So 4k damage in any battle. I mean, you look at there, the T-62A FV 0 damage. That happens in a Death Star. I don't think I've had as many 0 damage games in any other tank other than the Death Star. The Death Star, I've had so many 0 damage, and it's easy to do, very easy to do, because the accuracy, the aim time, everything like that is sky high on the tank. If you just miss one shot, that could be your game over, and you see that there with that Death Star. He missed the shot, the T-62 was able to capitalize on that, get behind him, and there's literally nothing that Death Star can do. Not so much his fault, there was not much he can do about it. He tried going for the shot, he missed. We all miss shots here and there, we all miss shots, and unfortunately for a Death Star, because you've had that reload, there isn't much you can do. So just 2 tanks left alive at the moment. He needs to separate these guys. There's only 2 minutes left on the clock, so there isn't long left on the clock. But of course, one of them's a mouse, very, very slow, and the Yo that can be dangerous. The Yo can actually clear him with 2 shells if he's running the 2 shell autoloader. That does over 900 damage. So he's just staying put for now because he knows the mouse is not around this area, and he gets a bounce. He's bounced 900 damage. The kind of thing you can do in a T-62. If you can go hold down on a ridgeline, you've got that gun depression, and you can literally tear tanks apart. Driving medium tanks in tier 10 is, for me, the most fun because they're so versatile. You can use them as heavies, especially this tank. You can use it basically as a heavy, hold down, and people will struggle to penetrate you. And of course, you can also use it as a medium with a massive DPM and a good speed. So 1 minute left on the clock. Now he has 2 tanks around him. He really needs to take care of that yo, and he does just that. He's on 5.4k damage with just less than a minute on the clock, but the mouse is in a bad position. So a minute on the clock, this guy is full hit points. There isn't many tanks out there that will be able to take this guy out with less than a minute on the clock. But yet, as soon as he's in the open, he's just all he's got to do is circle him. He can take a shot from this guy as well. Now there's 30 seconds left on the clock, and there is still 1100 hit points to do. And as I've said, there isn't many tanks out there that will be able to clear this guy in that time, other than a medium tank like the T-62. I'm surprised he's not using his adrenaline as well. At this point, I would be spamming that adrenaline. He does finally use it. With 10 seconds left on the clock, he's brought him down to a 1 shot. He needs to not bounce this shot, but of course he does get the kill with 4 seconds left on the clock. So well played there, and he ends on 7,800 damage. Make some credits as well. Now, the only thing that the best thing I like about the T-62 is the old days. This used to be the OG Lion, the T-54, the T-44. Then you used to be able to get the Object 140 or the T-62. It was the OG Lion, along with the IS-7. Now, for me, the reason why it's not played as much is here, literally like this. So we have the T-22, we have the Object 907, we have the T-62, we have the Object 140. All of these tanks are basically the same tank with a few differences, and this is why, in my opinion, the T-62 is not loved as much as it was. But go play it, guys. It's still a fantastic tank if you play it correctly. What is your favorite out of these 4 tanks? Let me know. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'll see you soon. With